This is Donald Trump, and you know that the real estate market is a big thing coming up in this election. That's why I get my advice from Randy Rodney at your Team Pros.
The following program is a real estate and mortgage show and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good evening and welcome to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts Randy and Jackie right here on Reality Radio 101. To get on board, send us an email. Our email address is yourhomeyourmoney101@gmail.com. And now, promoted by, we hope, the next president of the United States, Donald Trump, Randy, and Jackie Rodney.
Hello, y'all.
Hey.
How are you
Hi,
today?
everybody. Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
I have to say I'm a little down weather-wise, so
Yeah, bring us some down news.
no, I'm not feeling the
Go ahead.
best, so you can talk
No.
because you're good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
you're
you were
real
giving
good at talking a
You're
lot.
giving me down before the show. You might as well continue it with the
No,
news
you
this
started before the show. You started it, not me.
There you go, people.
Yep. Story of our lives.
Only thing I can
I don't
say,
know what it was you said about me now. I can't even remember.
was absolutely
You're lucky
nothing.
that my memory's bad because you say something and 10 minutes later I don't remember. You're lucky. Otherwise,
You're lucky.
no, you are.
You're very lucky that
Otherwise,
happens to you.
who the heck knows what I do with you? They probably find you on, they go to Criminal Minds, see what they do there. I watch that a lot.
Yeah. So I'm just going to stay clear of that stuff. American elections are in what, next week? Next
Yeah,
week
very,
they
yeah.
are. So this is
Wow.
pretty crazy.
Actually, it's your show when elections are going on.
Oh, really?
So you may want to tell your listeners you'll have a live show, maybe a past recorded show, what have you, because that's right in the gist of the U.S. election, your time frame, your day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we'll decide before the end of the show what we're doing, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Are you going to be busy, Gary?
Just monitoring the elections. I'm here
Maybe we'll
as
do
a radio
some
station.
Real-time monitoring. I don't know. What about you, Mike? You good for?
Yeah, I'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah, keep that in
Then I
mind.
think we'll be here. I think a lot of
Randy will be
Americans
here at
won't.
least.
A lot of Americans won't be here. They'll be watching.
Well, we don't really know where any of our listeners are from anymore, thanks
yeah.
to Trudeau.
Yeah. So since now we're not allowed to do that, we were moving along quite nicely. Went to a little over 10,000, and then we're not allowed to know anymore. And yeah, that's interesting. And I know that definitely we lost quite a few viewers when Jackie, went off.
What
the
did I do?
rocker.
What did I do?
You
No,
were-
what did I do?
you
What did I
were-
do?
you
Come on,
were-
quick, what
I'm
did I
telling
do?
you, you're talking down the main host of the show.
Who's the main host? No. Oh, wait a minute. It's the Randy Rodney show now? Oh.
No, this is
Okay,
just what
so he's the main host.
This is just
He's
what
the
I've
guy. He's the one.
I'm really not sure, but
no,
this is
no,
what
no.
I've heard.
That's okay. That means I don't have to be present anymore. Because I'm just leftover
Some have
goods.
said that you're not often present. This is what some have said. Like, I would never say something like that. But this is what I've heard.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this is going to be a show. I'm really tired and under the weather, and I'm going to be laughing a lot. And no, I'm not drinking if anybody asks like they did last time.
So we are going to actually if next week everybody's not listening, it's a good time to do a big draw. It's a good time. We're
Anthony ditched us tonight, so
yeah, Anthony's not here. But you know what? There's a lot that's going on in the marketplace, so I wouldn't mind getting down to business.
Well, let me do these couple emails, and
Okay.
then you get down to business. Taking care of business, Yeah, okay. It's from Mary. Hey, Randy, it's about time you got the great endorsement for your show. Woo! Thanks, Mary. No kidding, hey? Catherine says, Randy is hilarious. He is. He's pretty funny. I'm only saying that now because you brought it out, Catherine, but I don't normally swell his head up that much.
You used to think I was super funny, and remember your mom would always say, oh, he makes you laugh all the time.
And now you just make me cry.
And then we get married, and now she goes, you're never serious. You're never serious. Like,
no, but like, you get married, life changes, you get kids. Come on, you got to grow up.
life changes all right when you
Yeah,
get
but
married.
it's
Be
called
prepared,
it's
boys.
called grow up time, big boy.
Be prepared.
Put on your big man pants.
When you get married, the marketing team is gone. And what I mean by the marketing team is before you get married, the wife is doing all kinds of stuff for you. She's madly in love. She's laughing at all your
Madly
jokes.
in love, hey?
She's
Okay.
doing everything, and then you get married and all that changes. All of a sudden, she sees the exact opposite of the coin. If you're funny, you're actually not funny. You're
That's
just
not
serious.
true. That's not true. But like, I had to be the grown up this whole time. Come on. We got 2 kids, and I'm the only grown up in the house.
And don't worry, your wives are gonna say, "Oh yeah, he's like my child."
No, that's because I read you this thing the other day.
And I
That's
don't-
why.
No.
You are. You're a third. Men are third. Like they're their extra child that you didn't ask for.
And the only thing I have to say about that is, honestly, how sick are women's brains to think that? Like, they're calling you their child. That means that they would actually do things to their children that they
No, don't worry.
wouldn't-
You're not getting none of that anymore, so you're okay.
Us men never think of you as a child.
But
And
you
then-
treat us like your mother, so
and
you
then
just don't
now-
say it.
And what's the next thing? Then
You just don't say it,
either-
but I
it's
mother
either-
you. What do? I wash your clothes.
What-
I make you food. I bring you food. I put gas in your car.
What are-
I take your socks off. I cut your toenails. I cut your fingernails. I shave you. That's why you're like this now, because I've stopped. So what are you? Is that my husband? Is that my equal standing next to me? Or does that sound like a mother taking care of her child? Which one?
Taking care of a child. Okay.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
I'm trying to
You
figure
said it.
out what are women missing when they call their husband their child. And if you really think deep about that, that's actually kind of a little interesting.
We didn't say that you are. You act like.
And no,
That's
you
a
say,
difference.
You say we're your child.
No.
And so.
You're more work than my kids. Never
and then-
mind.
So we're your child, but meanwhile you sleep with us. I think that's
Oh,
wrong. You
geez.
should get that out of your head.
Okay.
And the other thing is they'll call us daddy. And
I
so-
don't call you daddy. Good luck with that one.
So they got
First off-
multiple issues.
First off, my father died just before I was born. I've never had a daddy, and I told you not that long ago that I ain't looking for a daddy, okay? Never had one. So anyways, Ray says, Randy, you are so right. They change, especially when it comes to sex. Oh boy,
Oh.
Ray, you had to bring that one up,
had
didn't
to
you,
bring
huh?
that one.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do another show related to that.
I gotta be honest, I've been pretty lucky in that department.
Oh, have
So,
you?
Yeah, but I make sure that I complain 3 times more than I need it. That way it's always there for me. So.
Yeah. Cook me food, clean my laundry, have sex with me whenever I want. Oh, but hold on, wait a minute. You got to go to work also.
That doesn't work. Anyways, let's get down before I get myself in more trouble. Let's get down to some information. You got some buzz you want to do before I take over the show?
I just got this buzz about this lawyer couple in Toronto
Oh yeah, that's been going on for a
that
while.
they were sentenced to jail, but they were sentenced to 30 days because they were found in contempt because they would not provide the records that was requested of them. Apparently, they're a married couple, and it's the law firm of Cartel and Bui, I'm going to say, but I might be pronouncing that wrong. And they were sued by 25 home buyers and sellers after more than $6.5 million of their money was embezzled from the firm's trust account, mostly between April and December of last year. Many of those plaintiffs have already obtained default judgments. Okay, so some of them got default judgments. And I guess the judge is saying that they have no remorse, none whatsoever. They couldn't care less that they did this to people. So we're just going to wait and see how that turns out, what happens to them. But it's pretty crappy, hey? These are the people you're supposed to be able to trust. You know, they got trust accounts, and I don't know. It's just...
It's extremely rare. I mean, typically...
But it happens.
Yeah, no, I hear you. It happens. All kinds of things happen. But a trust account is exactly that. It's a trust account. It usually gets audited, and if you have one penny that wasn't accounted for or misused, you're in a whole heap of trouble. So that's why it's extremely rare to have people like this here in Canada.
And then it says when the bulk of the funds went missing, she traveled from Zurich, Switzerland, Milan, Italy, in the same month, the same time. And then she also went to Portugal. And this was after she was supposed to surrender her passport. She wasn't supposed to go anywhere. She went to Portugal. So she's pretty...
She's a rebel.
Yeah, I was trying to think of the word. She's obviously not too worried.
How much money did they get away with?
6.5 million they embezzled. Now, what's left of it, we don't know, right? At this, their passports have been revoked. Yeah. And then he says, he looks a little bit like Justin Trudeau if you look at him with your hand like this. Anyways, he says that when he left a hearing in June, he repeatedly claimed that his wife managed the firms and their household's finances, and he had no knowledge of any of this.
That sounds...
What a douche. He just threw his wife under the bus.
Not throwing her under the bus. He's saying what happened.
How do you know that's what happened?
Because he said that's what happened.
Really?
Yeah, what's she saying?
He threw his wife under the bus.
I
I hope he
that's-
doesn't go home, because I'd have something ready for him.
What is she saying?
It just talks about what he said.
Yeah, exactly, because she's not saying anything, because that's probably what she did. And you do. You know what? It is really, really extremely rare that you're going to get both of them to go in on that scam.
But Randy, are you trying to tell me that this guy, they're partners, they own the law firm together, and he has nothing to do with any of
So
it?
did he go to Milan and Switzerland and all that stuff, or was it her that did?
She went.
Right,
Never
exactly.
said that he did.
So it's possible that he's innocent. It's possible, and highly probable. Most people would never play around with a trust account. You don't have to be a genius to know that a trust account, just even one penny done incorrectly, is a major problem. We have all
That was a
kinds
lot of pennies.
We have all kinds of legislation and all kinds of documents that we pass here in real estate on to the consumer because of accounting within the trust account. For example, you need to pass the interest that that the trust account gives on deposits. Oh, and so when you're talking about pennies and stuff like that, and let's say the account costs you let's just put a number of $10 a month to maintain, but they have, some money passes through there and passes back out because it's being used as a deposit on a home. And then there's an interest of 43 cents. That 43 cents has to be accounted for within the governing rules. And so, so now you've got a problem because it costs you $1.80 for the check to write to give to the person, plus it adds another transaction which costs you money to give the person the 48 cents. So you've got all these kind of issues. So now you're writing new documents to pass to the consumer that if the amount doesn't exceed X amount of dollars over X amount of days, that that money would not be surrendered, and that they volunteer that this is okay. Otherwise, you do not put their money into the trust account, because the trust account has to balance. You can't just take your money and put it in there to balance it. Just doesn't work that way. So all I'm saying there is it's a highly monitored account, and for anybody to go and be messing with a trust account, that person is partly a real serious criminal, because it's not like walking into a store and stealing a chocolate bar, because you could get away with stealing the chocolate bar. Like, maybe nobody finds out. But you move 1 penny out of your trust account to go and use and put that penny back, you're in a world of trouble. The trust account, you can't, there's very little that you can do with it. So for someone to go and then just steal all the money out of there, they have to be a hardened criminal who doesn't, couldn't care less about the ramifications.
But look at this, though. It says that it mostly came out of their account April and December of 2023, right? Mm-hmm. Right? But why did it take the Law Society of Ontario until May of this year to take over their files and everything? Like, why did it take that long?
Well, they're asking them to give over files. So
no, they took them from... They put them into trusteeship in May and took over its files and materials.
Well, you can't let a law firm that's stealing people's money continue, so you have to take it over. But
yeah, but why did it take 6 months?
Maybe they didn't get caught. Maybe they didn't get caught at that point, right? So you take money out of the account that, let's say that money is not closing for some period of time, because real estate transactions can take a few months to close. Then they go to close and the money's not there. Then they file a report, and then, it takes time. Takes time, but it's pretty crazy. And come to think of it, and I just really don't want to cast stones here, but it is the woman. He claims it's the woman, and that sounds about right to me. Women can be very evil. What do you think? Huh?
What do I look evil right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's your answer.
So yeah, that's kind of crazy. So that has been sort of an ongoing case for a little bit. And there's been a couple of crazy things that have happened. Interest rates, are they going up or coming down? Well, actually, it depends what you're looking at. Are you looking at the Bank of Canada variable rate, or are you looking at the fixed rate, which is attached to the bonds? Fixed rate attached to the bond, you would be doing very well if you could get a little over 4% in a 5-year fixed, about 4.5% in a 4-year, 4.25% in a 3-year. Right now, the 3-year is pretty decent, because you really don't want to tie in for a long term when rates are actually declining. The 1 year is at like 5.79, seems to be very popular right now. People want a real short-term one so they can try to go to, a lower rate, because the variable rate's going to continue to come down, but we're not really sure what's going to happen with the bond rate and the fixed rate. And I would be interested to know after, because there's a bit of a rumor out there, people are starting to say, well, because the Bank of Canada dropped their rate 0.5%, that Canadians are going to rush out and do real estate because of it, and we're not seeing that. We will see October transactions up. However, I mean September transactions up realistically, because yeah, it would be October. We're in October. It would be October transactions. They are up. They will be up this year, but we are coming down off of October of 2022 and 2023 of real serious negative numbers, like down 49% in 2022. And then down another 5.8%, so that we're looking at, like over 50% decline in sales. So to get a 20 or 30% increase over those numbers would kind of tell us that we're still 20, 30% low on transactions, which would kind of make sense. So we'll probably see something like that when the figures come out in a few days. I think Halloween's on Thursday, so Friday will be new. So we'll get new numbers hopefully for the show next week. While the election is going on, we're going to have a much more exciting time than the American elections. That's a scary time, to be honest, because it seems like both parties seem to believe that if the other party wins, that America is doomed. I'm here to tell you that America has seen some pretty bad times, and I think that they'll be okay. You guys will make it through. The thing, I definitely have what I believe and what I would rather see. However, I don't really think it's important since I can't even vote on the election. But what happens in the United States does affect us here in Canada, and we saw it. We saw the different administrations and how it affected us, and so so I would like things to get better here. So we are going to be going through our own election pretty soon, and right now it appears that about 30% of Canadians approve of our Liberal Party in the way that they're handling things, in the way that they're running the country. That 30% I do not believe is paying attention, or they're being paid by the Liberal Party. But outside of that, the rest of Canada is pretty much finished with our Justin Trudeau, our Liberal leader here. And so it's not like in the United States, where there is actually a battle, where it looks like Americans are split 50-50 on what's going on. They, 50% want the Democratic Party and their leader, and the other 50% wants the Republicans. What is really interesting, though, is that in the United States, one of the parties didn't even go through a process to have their party elect someone. They just appointed someone and got rid of another person. It's kind of insane, and I kind of guess I would have hoped that the public at large rebelled against that type of leadership. Thank heavens we don't have that here, but we are already in a position where our government is more powerful than the people.
Isn't that typically?
It shouldn't be like that. The
But
government.
isn't that typical, though? I know it
No,
shouldn't be like that,
it's
but
the way that the system has grown. It's become that powerful. And then you have one party trying to bring down the hold that government has on its country and reduce government, and you have another party that actually wants to build it up and monitor everything and add more and add more. And I am shocked that people are okay with that. But it is the way that things are. Here in Canada, we will probably be switching next year to Conservative Party. Part of the fear here, though, is that our Conservative Party will be led by a politician, which probably means we'll be in the same pot, it'll just be a different soup. And so let's hope that that's not the situation. At least what we're seeing with their policies, they are looking to stimulate the economy. They aren't looking to just give away money. However, they just announced that the Conservatives just announced that what they will be doing on new home sales to ease some pressure, they will be they won't charge the GST on homes under $1 million, hoping to stimulate some of the real estate market. The issue that I have with that,
Just a little tiny drop
it's a
in the
little
bucket.
tiny drop, I agree with that. And the fact that, what does that stimulate? Does that stimulate more housing, or does that stimulate more buyers? There's an argument for both, because it helps to, in essence, have the price lowered for the builders, so that there could be a little bit more profit for them. So you could say that they would be more interested in building the properties. But overall, I would say that this is more demand pressure. In other words, it's more of an incentive for buyers to see that 13 or the GST removed from the home, so they don't have to come up with as much money. So it would stir more buyer demand, which is what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to get away from policies that are stirring demand at a time when there is a shortage of properties. And actually, what we should probably see next year is a bunch more properties come onto the marketplace. So what they're saying is, oh no, if we're going to have a lot of inventory on the market, then we need to stir more demand, because there will be enough inventory. The problem with that is that it won't allow for the market to take its natural course and start to reduce prices and make things more affordable. That is the problem. You want to do some emails and then we'll go back?
Yeah, we got one from Frank, and he says, Trudeau, hey, real estate folks. Trudeau is going down. 3 parties are going after him to step down, or they are pushing for a no confidence vote election. Yes. What do you think of that?
Well, that's what's happening. Well, I don't know if they're pushing for it, because they went against having that vote. So I haven't seen, I haven't heard anything that they're actually going to push for a non-confidence vote, although I think if they were going to listen to their constituents, they would.
Oh, okay. And we got one from Tammy, and she says, hey, Rodney's, what are you giving out for Halloween? Houses? I'll give you my house. I'm renovating right now. You can have it. It's a thorn.
Okay.
Yeah, we are working on some giveaways. We're working with some of the local businesses, and we will be hopefully in the near future have all of that set up, and we will have some different giveaways.
Yeah, we
we're-
definitely have that. We just
we're-
signed up with a gentleman who's going to be heading that up.
Yeah.
And I really kind of want to talk about it on the show, but we're
Sorry.
just not ready for it yet. Hopefully next week. That might be exciting if we can do that next week.
Well, we got to see if he's that far at
You
this
got another
point.
email?
Yep, from William, and William says, right as rain. You are right, Randy. It was the woman. Remember, the woman ate the forbidden fruit and God was mad. Listen, I'm going to tell you something, William, right now. Now you got me going. If Eve did not eat that fruit, would we be here? Would we be in existence? No, because her and Adam wouldn't have never got together, man. So she had to. They had to fail in that garden in order for us to come along. So they were set up for failure, if you, I guess in the lack of other terms, they were set up to fail, because if they didn't, we wouldn't exist. Anyways, that's my bout for the whole woman thing there. That's how I get that off. And then one from Darlene. Darlene says, so the McDonald's that Donald Trump was serving folks is now being threatened, boycotted, etc. by the left. And the Democratic Party is now, oh my goodness, sorry. The Democratic Party is now looking at election fraud for Trump, claiming that he used campaign funds to pay for the Happy Meals. Insane.
Yeah. I heard
Oh
about
my,
that,
give me a break. So he gave the money back to some of the people? Whoa, bad dude.
No, it's not that. It's if you know, they're saying that he was buying votes by buying them stuff.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, yeah, because a Happy Meal is going to buy you a vote. Come on, what is
Yeah,
it?
it's
Under $10? Give me a break. I'm sorry. That's just me.
I might
Anyways,
vote for him for a Happy Meal.
No, you wouldn't. You
If
don't
you're-
even
if
like
you're sending
McDonald's.
them, let
You
me
don't
know.
even like McDonald's. Darlene then says again, hey, Randy, here's one for you. Already voter fraud. Voter bins have been targeted with arson in Trump's stronghold of liberal states. And the FBI found several voting bins out in the garbage in 2 states against Trump.
Okay.
But you know, I say this every time Randy tells me something that's going on, because I have listened to it. I don't really keep up with that stuff. I'm not interested in it, unfortunately. But it's like, how the heck do these Democrats, these people, how do they get away with everything that they do? They can do whatever they want, and nobody does anything, says anything. Nothing happens. Like, this world is so messed up. So messed up. I don't know.
I don't know if the world's messed up.
Yes,
I
the
think-
world is messed up,
I
man.
think there's a.
The world is messed up.
There's a lot of political influence in the United States government that we're seeing that is plain as day.
Yeah.
As long as you don't have blinders on, the rest of everyone else can see it, except for the people who are supporting the party that's doing this stuff. They don't see it.
They don't see it. I know. That's what I mean. These people that are Democrats don't see any wrong when it's like right as day.
I don't want to say Democrats or Republican. I'm just saying that right now, you're kind of right that it happens to be them, and it is really kind of shockingly wrong. I'm shocked.
I don't know.
I
They get
don't
away.
know how they
I'm
can
gonna-
do it so brazenly.
Yeah.
And
Because they know they've been doing it for years and years. Like nothing
well,
changes.
You know
They're quite confident when they do it that nothing's going to come out of it.
Well,
Nobody
that-
cares
you know, they're
what
all
they do.
over
They-
Elon Musk. He went and he switched sides
Oh,
because he
yeah,
voted
I
for
know.
Biden, and he switched sides because he didn't.
But
didn't
whose
see
business
anything.
is it that he wants to vote for whoever he wants?
Well,
Why do you think that
they don't like that, and
it
that's
doesn't?
why they're
But it's
gonna
not
go after
them.
him.
That's why it's called your vote,
The-
because you get to vote what you want.
If you are on the Democratic side, yes, that's true. You do.
I
But if you
don't
are
know.
not
It-
on the Democratic side, then
It's
it
pretty
is
crazy.
a problem. And we see it. And that's why a lot of people are afraid to even say it. And that's why right now the polls are saying 50-50. But the polls have never been right for Donald Trump because of the way that people are really concerned.
50-50?
The polls
I
are
swear 2 or 3
50-50.
days ago it was like 70-something to whatever.
I don't know what you're talking about. You must
Well,
be
I
talking
only
about Canadian.
half listens, huh?
Yeah, you must be talking about Canadian politics. It's about 70% are against our governing body. But yeah, the polls are saying it's about a 50-50. It's kind of like a dead heat. However, that really does mean that Donald Trump has quite a substantial edge because many people are afraid to say that they support him because of the way in which the media has
Yeah,
gone
no
after
kidding.
anybody who would say it. And the thing is that it's so strange. You're talking about all media except for Fox, and then Fox is totally the other way. Is there, like, there's no real media. There really isn't. Fox is 100% Republican, and all the rest are 100% liberals, and blatantly proud of it, to the point where it's actually kind of a bit disgusting or disturbing, to be honest. But that's what it is. Let's get back to Canadian
Oh, well, I
politics,
got one email.
Canadian real estate,
Yeah.
because, yeah, go ahead.
Let's
Because
do
the
this
elections are
email.
next week, and this is all going to get sorted out. If the Democrats win,
So-
we'll probably get shut down.
Florence says, hey, so Trump is a Nazi, like Hitler, because he held a rally in Madison Square Garden, just like Bill Clinton did, Obama did, the mayor of New York
That's
did, et
different,
cetera,
though.
et cetera, et cetera.
That's different.
Hypocrites.
Yeah, that's different because they're all Democrats. And we just said that unfortunately that's the way it is. You know what's even more interesting is how did they all, like, if you notice something, which is really kind of, again, it's so disappointing. If you notice that the Democrats, they all come out with the same buzz terms all at once. So like they're getting these Democratic buzz terms. So and it doesn't have to make sense. It just
Is.
is. It's just an attack. And whether they're right or wrong, it really doesn't matter, because they realize that if they can put the message out there and then it's wrong, as long as they sweep it under the rug, many people will believe it. Many people will say it's true. Just like the many people who will say that Donald Trump's a racist and things of that nature. And it's just so sad that, you know, to hear people just jump and just call people names like that, like so convincingly, with, you know, it's just really sad. And what's even more sad is if you have a black person that supports him, that black person is also like a white supremacist. Like, that's when you know that the system is just messed up. But anyways, that's
another
that
email.
one. Okay, you do that one.
So we got one from Alexis. Jackie is right. The Democrats, liberals get away with everything that they try, and no one says anything. Trump pays for Happy Meals, and the libs want to get him off the ballot. The Democrats are nuts, losing their minds. Yeah, that's putting it nicely.
Yeah,
'Cause
it
there's
is
definitely
strange.
something wrong
It's very
there.
strange
It's
stuff.
yeah.
It's very strange.
It is.
And you know what's really unfortunate? If they didn't do that, I believe they would have a lot more power. I believe they would have a lot more voters. But you're turning voters away. You realize once we realize the whole scam with Russia, you know, once we realize that scam, our eyes are wide open. I mean, and it was the media that opened our eyes. Well, Donald Trump was saying fake news, but nobody really believed him. But once we saw that, and then now you're just continuing on with this just real silly stuff, and now we don't even trust you. You know, now you're attacking Elon Musk because, you know, because he's supporting Trump, but you're not. It's just really, really unfortunate. And I hope there comes a day when somebody takes back the power from the Democratic Party and actually creates like a a more sane party, something that you can be proud to get behind, because I would find it very, very difficult to be proud to get behind what they're doing. It's troubling, as a matter of fact. So, what's happening in all of our news, like most of our news right now, is all about the mortgage rates that have been coming down. So, lots of people are on the mortgage rates because they just came down 0.5%. And then, prior to that, it was 0.25%. Prior to that, it was 0.25%. Prior to that, it was 0.25%. So we're looking at about 1.25%. And that is supposed to ignite our real estate market. So the people, realtors are saying it, mortgage agents are saying it, bankers are saying it, economists are saying it, and people who need to sell their homes are saying it, but it's not happening. And the truth of the matter is, don't listen to any of those parties, because every single one of those parties are actually more trying to wish it into existence. The truth of the matter is, our housing is unaffordable. And unaffordable doesn't mean that it's just priced high. It means that our incomes cannot support it. And so because of that, life is very uncomfortable for buyers, and so therefore they recognize that it's a very hard thing to do today. It's a hard thing to qualify for. It's a hard thing to maintain the payments. God forbid you lose your job, and we're in a marketplace where that could very much happen, because things aren't that stable here in Canada right now. And so because of affordability, it is the market is not going to be seeing surges to get back to the prices that the sellers need, that had bought during the peak and now can't afford to keep their home, but needs to sell it at the prices at the peak in order to, or near the peak, in order to break even. And so, unfortunately, I guess I got to be that one realtor out there that just says, I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen. You're not going to see our market turn around and be, a flourishing market. The absolute best that I can see happening is a balanced market. And that's the marketplace that we're in. We're in a balanced market right now, and prices are going down. If we head to a buyer's market, then you're going to see a lot of downward pressure on prices, and there would not be the return anytime soon of the prices of yesterday. For those of you who are in a position where you need to sell, to get rid of the actual costs of living right now based on your financial situation, this spring is your chance to get out. This coming spring. Better than this coming spring was the fall, which is ending now. Better than that was the spring before. And so each one of those segments, the prices are actually declining. So you're getting less each one of those better seasons. Then as they go on, you're getting less and less and less. You're maximizing on the marketplace, but the marketplace is lower than it was the year prior. And so, rather than sit, like I know one person who has a property that's sitting there vacant, and he's waiting for the market to do better, for the rate hikes to kick in. And I don't know what to say. I tried to explain to him that this is just a really, really bad idea. You're not going to make back that money.
But he listens to all this crap he hears.
Right. He listens to...
And not the facts.
Well, I think to an untrained ear, listening to realtors on TikTok and all the different things, channels that were on YouTube, all that stuff, that want their base to come and start buying and selling. They are offering positive thoughts to hopefully spark some sales. I would say just be careful, because this marketplace is not about great sales and all that stuff. It's about you positioning yourself within the marketplace in a responsible manner, looking long term. That's the marketplace. As a matter of fact, what I would tell you is that real estate throughout history, that's the way it was meant to be governed. You know, the people who are fly-by-nights that just got into the real estate industry and have only in the last 10 years have, or 15 years actually, has only seen this kind of a marketplace, which is really a one-off. Real estate is hasn't been this way, so they don't understand that real estate is a long-term play, that real estate is a steady as you go play. They're trying to they're trying to hope that that period comes back where you could buy a home and make $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month on your home. And you know, we had those periods, but those are very rare times. So if you're looking for those times to come back, I don't know how I don't know how you could. Like if you just think about it for a minute, just the cost of being able to support a home. If the homes continue to increase $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 a year, who would be able to continue to buy those? And so, you know, when you start thinking about it like that, you start saying, well, someone's got to have that income to be able to do it. Who do you know that has the income to do it? As a matter of fact, I would even pose another question for you to ponder. If most of the people that you know today were to sell their home outside of the equity they would get, but they were to go and buy another home, and they were to put down whatever the deposit is, a 20% or a 10% deposit, would they be able to afford the payments? They're buying the same home back, and you know, they're putting a 20% deposit. They would, many people just wouldn't even be able to afford to do that. So this is where we're at a period of time where, you know, what's up is down and what's down is up. It really just doesn't make sense. The market has to come back into control, and things need to make sense. Things need to be affordable, and they're not. So until we get to the point where things are affordable, and then when they are affordable, and they're affordable for a while, and then people are buying and selling and they're engaging in the market, at that point you can then begin to see the market bubble and see things like, you know, really prices going up fast and things of that nature. But you have to get back to an affordable marketplace where people can easily buy and sell. Most people can. People who want to be able to get into the market can. But we are nowhere near a marketplace like that. So I would say that, you know, for the people who are fortunate enough to be able to get now it's a privilege. Before it was almost like, well, that was the Canadian dream, and everybody is sort of like fighting for it, and they're going to get it. Well, now it's kind of more of a privilege than it is just the Canadian dream, and it's further and further away, and the incomes that you need to purchase a home are extremely high. Most people don't have those incomes. That's why most people wouldn't qualify to buy the homes that they're living in. So, what I think needs to happen, like I said, is things need to become affordable again, and then people need to be able to buy and sell homes. And then when that happens, and that can happen in a plentiful way, then there will be the power to drive the prices in a flurry, the way that we've seen it over the last 10 years. You got an email you want to do?
Yeah, this one's really, wow, an eye-opener. It's from Hannah, and she's talking about the polls. She said, "Who believes polls? I used to work for a polling company, and she's not talking about pole dancing, okay? So get your mind out of there, okay? And we used to report the polls to news agencies the way that we want it. In that way, people hear that a particular candidate is losing, so they say, why bother going out and vote? It's all a scam. The polls can be manipulated so easy. There are no checks and balances. That is crazy."
Interesting. Go ahead.
Oh, this came in studio. Gary just forwarded this, and it's hello. It's Carl. Carl says, "Randy, that is so funny. Have a draw for a car next week for your one listener. I live here in Canada, and I will be watching the
election.
U.S."
No offense, love you folks. Thank you. Yes.
Carl, you're right. Maybe we'll give away a car next week. There you go.
Well, no. If we have one listener, we just lost a car. So yeah.
That's
We
true
need
too.
0
And
listeners.
Carl is not going to be. He's going to be watching. He's going to be listening to the show, so he wins the car. That's what he's doing.
That's what he's
just
doing.
like
He's
manipulating the polls.
What else is the news saying here? The news is actually saying what the Bank of Canada rate cuts are going to, what it means for the real estate. It's going to help the real estate and that, and those are
I don't
other
know.
things.
I think
It's-
what I've said for a long time, and I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but real estate is not. It is about what's going on in the real estate market right now, but it really comes down to you. Is this the right time for you? Is this the right time for your finances, for your family? I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter what's going on in the real estate world. If the timing is off for you, the timing is off. And then, like I always say to people, when you're in like real estate, I mean, like this, it's, I don't know, it's hard to make decisions when you're just so unsure of everything. It's a tough one.
Well, the one thing you can be sure about is our economy is not doing well, and that you can be sure of. If you can afford a home and you can have that, and you can look at it for long term, then definitely, then it's right for you. Touching on these people who are out there saying that the market, because of the rates coming down, we've had 4 consecutive rate declines. The latest one being 0.5 point. Coming off of that, they're saying that people are going to be more excited about the real estate market. The only problem that I have with that, and there was one other article that talked about people, Reuters, Canadian homeowners are considering switching to
I
a
said that to you when we were on our way here.
mortgage after
That
a big
I
rate
was reading
cut.
an article about
And
that too.
I sincerely believe that is a horse manure. The thing is I guess the problem is that I've been around a little too long for my own good.
You have been. You're a dinosaur, babe.
And the average Canadian never liked the variable mortgage. That mortgage was as a matter of fact, back in the day when I first got my license, that mortgage was not allowed to the average person. You would have to be a pretty special person with a lot of money that you could put down on the home to be able to get that mortgage. And then it was available to anybody who kind of wanted it. But most people, if not, I shouldn't say
But
all,
why?
'cause it's
Why
not
was it
true.
only available to
It
rich
was
people?
Because it fluctuates. And,
So they want to know you can carry
right, that you can-
ride the
right,
storm out.
Right, and so the thing is that when it became something that the average person was allowed to do, the average person didn't want it. They didn't want that insecurity, or instability, I mean. They didn't want to know that this month their mortgage was X amount and next month it's X plus 4, and then the next month it's X minus 1, and the next month, not month, but next quarter, the next 2 months or so, whenever these announcements would be made. They did not want that variability in their mortgage payment. They wanted to know that their mortgage payment was X amount, that
Yeah,
they earned X
course.
amount, and they would pay it. It gave their family stability. So Canadians
Yes.
were not big on a variable mortgage, and I think that the people are making assumptions that this variable mortgage rate hikes and declines are going to have a bigger effect than they really will have, because you have to understand that, again, like I said, Canadians weren't big on variable mortgages. What happened that made the variable mortgage a very popular product was not because Canadians wanted it, it's because Canadians were forced into the variable mortgage. And so what I mean by that, I guess I'll go back into a little bit of history. Those of you who know about mortgages know exactly what I'm talking about, but maybe you haven't put the two together. What happened was, mortgages were, the variable mortgage rate was extremely low. It was like below 1%. And then which was attractive, but people still kind of wanted to stick to their fix. And then they came out with the stress test. And so now with the stress test out there, adding 2% onto what they needed to qualify with, and the variable mortgage dropping down to 0.75%, 0.5%, 0.25% to the Bank of Canada, when through the Bank of Canada, then the banks would add on their little bonuses on top of that. When you actually add the 2% stress test on there, they could afford the mortgage. So, but if they went to the fixed and then added the 2%, they couldn't. They wouldn't have been able to qualify for the home that they were looking for. So they were forced into accepting this variable rate. And then what made it all even worse is that the head of the Bank of Canada, Tiff Macklin, he came out and said to Canadians, go out and spend and borrow the money. We're going to be keeping rates low for a long time. And as Canadians, we're like, oh, okay, well, hey, he knows. He's running the thing. So let's do this variable mortgage thing, and because that's how we're going to qualify for homes anyways. And then the professionals are, hey, you're safe, don't worry. Tiff Macklin said you're safe. And then, nope, you weren't safe. Then he jacked it up, and a lot of people got hurt in between. So I don't believe Canadians are going to easily trust the variable mortgage that way again. So
I
these
know,
people,
but why do they all think it's such a great thing the mortgage rates are coming down?
no,
I don't understand.
I think it is a good thing for real estate that rates
Yeah,
will
but-
come down.
Okay, the variable rate is coming down.
Right. So it is a great thing for real estate because it makes real estate potentially more affordable if it's the fixed rate that's coming down. But like my wife said, it's the variable rate. I do want to, I've got 1 minute here.
Yeah.
I want to say that the policies that are coming in is CMHC now you can qualify at $1.5 million. There's no stress test on renewals, which is totally awesome.
Yeah.
Because that was a big scam that came out in favor of the banks. Absolutely stupid. I have no idea how it came in, and I think there should be an investigation into how it came in because that was a scam on Canadians where banks had total strength on their money when it came time to renewals. You can have up to 3 units in your Toronto properties, which is also a pretty cool thing. And if you were to borrow money to do an auxiliary unit or something like that, you can get up to 90% financing, and that's pretty cool. And the last one, 30% amortizations. Some people say that's good, some people say it's bad, but it certainly helps it make things more affordable.
Okay.
You want to sign us out?
Yep, okay. Thank you once again for your emails and tuning in. This has been your home, your money, and our crazy lives. And
On Reality
what are we
Radio
doing? Hold on.
101.
Next week, is there a show or not?
Yes, there's a show next week.
There's
Let's
a
do
show
it.
next week.
On realityradio101.com. Bye for now.
See you then.
Thank you for listening to Your Home, Your Money with your hosts, Randy and Jackie Rodney, right here on Reality Radio 101.